Hey, what's going on everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back again with another video. Today we're going to be talking about oil stocks and where I think they're heading. Are they a good purchase or not right now? And which ones would I be buying in a time like this now that obviously a lot of these stocks have pulled back significantly and you could be getting in at some pretty major discounts. So please keep in mind that none of this is financial advice, just my personal opinion. I went ahead and made a list of a lot of the bigger oil stocks, and I'm going to be talking about which ones I like here, which ones I think are probably going to be able to hold up better than others, also maybe some that I would avoid. And we're going to look at charts, etc., etc. Before I get into that, I wanted to mention where I think oil is heading. So if we look at YTI crude, you can see that it has obviously fell significantly. It's heading very fast towards $25. And if you look back, around 1995, we were around $20. So I don't really see it falling lower than that in all cases. We may already have reached the low here around $25. So if we do fall, it's not going to be that much lower because I do not see it going less than $20. And if we found our low, well, we probably could even start bouncing pretty soon or at least stabilizing. So that is something to keep in mind with oil itself. And by the way, while we're on our Twitter here, I'm doing a little promotion. So if you go check out this tweet, you'll see that I have a 25% discount code. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. Check out the discount if you're interested in getting the course at less than $15. So let's go ahead and take a look at the list here. I'm going to talk about some that are outperforming the rest. So Phillips 66 is definitely one of them, up over 11%, very impressive. We've got Chevron also beating and outperforming the rest at almost a 7% increase. And then a lot of the other ones are at about a 3% increase for the most part. Now, let's go ahead and look at some of the charts here. What you'll see is pretty impressive because the way I like to look at it, for ExxonMobil, for example, we are basically, if we buy here, getting in at the price of over 20 years ago, which is pretty amazing if you think about it, right? Of course, you had a whole automobile industry boom that caused the run-up and more traveling all around, but it's still pretty amazing to be able to get in at the same price that you could have over 20 years ago. So that in itself is pretty interesting in my opinion, and something that you really need to think about, right? When would you ever have the opportunity for a lot of big AAA stocks to get in on the price that was 20 years ago, right? That never happens. And of course, these stocks are correlated to oil, so that's why there's this opportunity, but it is still something that is pretty unique and special. Of course, a very high yield right now as well on ExxonMobil, and I think that this is one of the big ones. I don't really see it going anywhere. So even though it may struggle a little bit in the shorter term, could fall down to $35, I don't really see it going much lower than where we're at now, maybe $35 at the most. And I think that it's just going to start to stabilize, right? We may be very flat on ExxonMobil for 2 to 3 years, but overall, I think the rise will come again. We're going to see it go back towards its all-time highs. And if that happens and you load it up at these prices, well, that's going to be a pretty big payday, right? Once again, not financial advice, just my personal opinion. I'm not buying oil stocks just yet, but some of these I will consider buying, such as ExxonMobil. So let's go ahead and take a look at Chevron. This is another of the good ones. Also, of course, one of the bigger ones. And if you look at the previous patterns, overall a very nice steady uptrend with a couple ups and downs. We've got a few dips in the past, right? And overall, if you look, there were always pretty good buying opportunities. We have a little bit of a double top here on the chart. So definitely thinking that we're going to see it stabilize here, probably around, this drop over here. It could actually fall all the way down to $50. So Chevron could have a little bit more downside than ExxonMobil. Just something to keep in mind there that I'd be aware of. Definitely, we could stop at a drop to $65, but we could end up stabilizing around $50. So Chevron, really good stock, but I'd maybe be a little bit careful on this one as it could fall lower. So have to keep an eye out for that. Of course, if oil starts recovering, it may not drop that much at all. We may already start to see it bounce again. So it really depends on, your risk tolerance and where you see it heading. But overall, definitely one of the better oil stocks. Just maybe right now, I would wait to see if it's going to start bouncing higher or if it has a little bit more downside to go. Let's take a look at Oxy stock. Now, this is one that got a huge dividend cut, so that's something to keep in mind there. And I think that based on this previous pattern of it stabilizing for, over 20 years, really, I think that I would avoid this one, right? I believe Warren Buffett might have bought into it, but the fact of the matter is, yes, it could, bring its dividends back up, and that would obviously make it, a nice opportunity there where you could at least hold it and get the dividends in the meantime. But the fact that in the past it's stabilized for very long periods means that, to me, it can do it again, and that's why I'd rather stay away from it and go into something like ExxonMobil. Let's move on to the next in our list. I'm just going to not go over the chart on this one. Shell is obviously one that some people really like. I'm not a big fan of Shell, so that's going to be a pass for me. And let's take a look at British Petroleum. Obviously, one of the big ones had, some crazy ups and downs in its past history, but we're going to look at what's it looking like right now. So we have overall this pattern of just this consistent downtrend. It was able to stabilize for a good 10 years here, and now it's dropping lower again. So I don't really see it going lower than $20. By all means, we're probably not going to come crashing down on this one, but overall, I think that, you could get in just for the dividends and the stabilization, because I think it's just going to remain pretty flat, somewhere between $20 to $25. So pretty straightforward here on British Petroleum. Not one that I expect to go tremendously up or down. Probably just going to be a lot of stabilization ahead for the coming years. Of course, it does have a nice dividend, so that is one of the selling points on that one. And finally, we're going to look at FANG. This is another oil stock that may interest you. Let's take a look at what it's been doing. So dividend currently at 4.67%, based in Texas. Had a very nice performance here in recent years. However, did take a pretty strong hit, now down almost 85%. So it did bounce back a little bit, right? We hit an all-time low here of, a recent low of $18.59, but huge hit compared to where it was before, right? It was over $120. So definitely took a very big hit. I think this one could bounce up pretty nicely to back towards $50. So kind of one that got hit very hard, similar to ExxonMobil. And for that reason, I think it's definitely not one of the bad ones. I think this one would be a, one to get maybe for a bounce. But overall, my favorite is ExxonMobil. Just to give a recap here, I think this one it has the history behind it, and I just don't see a stock like this really failing long term, right? I think that, yes, we may drop a little bit further, mostly reach kind of our stabilization area. If anything, we could even bounce back towards $50 here. And, you're going to keep getting the dividends with this one. I'm not too worried about a major dividend cut for ExxonMobil. And I think that that's why it's my number one pick, right? My second pick would probably be Chevron. And let's not forget, I actually didn't take an in-depth look into Phillips 66, so definitely should go over that one as well, because like we had seen, Phillips 66 was actually one of the stronger performers here. So definitely don't want to miss that one, because we want to take a look at what the chart is telling us and what it might be looking like for the future. So looking at Phillips 66, this is one that has a history of, slow but steady upside, but also a very nice ability to stabilize when it needs to. So paying out a nice dividend of 6.27%, that's a good, healthy dividend for a stock like this, an oil stock like this. You don't want, dividend yields that are too high. Sometimes on these oil stocks that can end badly, like Oxy, I believe that was sort of the case. And here for Phillips 66, 6.27%. Also like the fact that it was able to remain stable. And I think this one is going to be similar to British Petroleum, a little bit better in my opinion, as British Petroleum could still get a little bit of downside. We may head towards $50 here for Phillips 66, but overall, I think that this one is going to stay pretty stable and going to keep paying out its dividend. I think that, we could even see it move back towards this area of $75 and stabilize there. So that's what it's looking like right now in the shorter term. We'll have to see if it moves below $50, then we could be heading a little bit lower. But for now, it seems like somewhere between $50 and $75 is going to be where we're going to stabilize. And, that's all you can really ask for a stock like this. Afterwards, it's just a matter of making sure that it's staying stable, and that's pretty much all you need to worry about. So that is the end of this video. Once again, don't forget to check out my Twitter. Make sure to take advantage of that little discount that I'm having there, where you can get the course for 25% off. And also make sure to follow me, because I'm posting a lot of market updates for cryptos, stocks, gold, silver, oil, and I'm being very active with that. So if you want to stay tuned and keep updated with live market updates in real time, also make a lot of predictions that tend to be pretty accurate, if I do say so myself. Bitcoin back above $7,000. Probably going to make a video on some crypto soon as well, so look forward to that. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, turn on those notifications by hitting that bell button so you can stay updated right when I post a video and you never miss a beat. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Stay safe.